Hello and welcome to what's been quite a long time in the making, but it's our functional fitness endurance program aimed at people that are competing in comps like High Rocks, or potentially if you're a CrossFitter who wants to get really fit and really strong, but will omit some of the skills like some of the gymnastics work in there, then it'll still be a good fit for you. And just wanted to provide a bit of an introduction to it, so you'll get a bit of insight as to what's included. It's a collaboration between myself and Red Pill Coaching. In terms of what we're going to cover off, a little bit of an introduction on who we are, some of the problems that we're looking to solve and tools that we use to solve those, and then the majority will be around the how, so some of the testing that we use, a bit of a lay of the land with regard to the program design, and then how we educate clients and help them implement the learnings along the way, and then a bit around who this is aimed for. So Phil is the founder of Red Pill Training. He's got extensive experience in CrossFit, having been to the Games finals 6 times with some of his athletes, but he's also got a background in endurance cycling, going to some of the big competitions like Tour de France. He's also clearly a bit of a fiend for long distance and endurance style events himself, having gone to 40 Ironmans and marathons combined. Myself, what most of you may know me for is the Training Gains Without Pains, which is sort of combining strength and fitness programming and trying to bridge the gap between that and physio. I went to Loughborough University, played rugby for a while, very short career in that. I actually did the Red Pill mentorship in 2020, and I've also competed in competitions like High Rocks and Turf Games. So tool 1. Data-driven training, and the reason for this really is to make sure we have an objective measure of where someone is at their starting point of jumping on board, because there's no point if we don't take that data to start with, then we don't know how much we're improving as we go through the program. But it's also super handy for being able to use that data to inform us on strategy, and also to make sure that clients are hitting certain stimuluses within different parts of the program, which I'll get into later on. Periodization. So if you're someone that struggled with sort of persistent niggles in your training, you've maybe plateaued a little bit in your strength and fitness, or you just don't feel like you're hitting your maximal potential, then it could be to do with the balance of the intensities across the program. So there's lots of different systems that contribute to sort of the strength and fitness element. So whether that be strength endurance, absolute strength, power, anaerobic fitness, aerobic fitness, it all plays a part and all influences performance, and it's getting the right balance of those in line with whatever your goals are. So you don't want to start a journey without planning a route. And hopefully what we'll do here is provide a bit of insight into the map over the course of 3 to 6 months. I've got a saying with a lot of my one-to-one clients, but you've got to earn it to burn it. So just making sure in a chronological fashion that we build the foundations that you then can perform in the competitions well at, but also reach a higher peak of intensity as well. So tool 3 is around our education and strategy. So this is around understanding your body, its performance, and making sure that you maximize its potential. So if you're someone that likes to understand the why behind what's included in your program and being able to correlate your goals to that, then this would be really handy. Now I just want to talk a little bit around the 3 pillars that I think of with regard to what influence optimal performance. So for a long time, I had my hat hung up on just the training pillar, and then quickly came to the realization that if one of the other 2 pillars is out of kilter, then our performance is going to suffer. So the other 2, mindset and lifestyle, so things like stress, sleep, upregulation, downregulation, energy management, that type of thing. And then nutrition, so obviously making sure that you're fueling properly for your goals. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the testing that we use at the very, very start of the program, which is an FTP test with a bit of a twist on it. It's the gold standards of fitness testing in endurance cycling, but we've made our own one for competitions like the ones I mentioned before. So there's a beginner, intermediate, and advanced. The test takes around 20 to 25 minutes long, and then we can add a 5% decline to calculate your approximate finish time if you're competing in something like the High Rocks. We can also derive a bit of strategy from the actual test itself, which we do every 6 to 7 weeks. to see how we're improving over that time without actually having to do a full race, but also the strategy within the test itself. And then I guess it's kind of important to understand different levels of intensity that I think about when I'm making a program, and Phil's been great at balancing these out across the course of the training cycle. So hopefully it illustrates a sort of bottom-up way of improving your performance, and then also a top-down. So the build, or what I define as build, is all about that base building. So aerobic work, strength, endurance, structural balance, so balancing asymmetries left to right, that type of thing. And then that would also be below what your race pace would be. So if you know what your race pace is, that will be below that, which obviously won't require as much rest, and you can work for longer periods of time. Then we've got perform, which is the pace that you would compete at in the competition itself, the types of lifts that are included, similar volume, similar weights, etc. And then lastly, we've got intensity. So above competition pace, heavier lifts, a way to put the foundations that you built in the previous blocks to work. So I always think about it like this as a saying, is sort of the wider the base, the higher the pyramid can go. And then it's about balancing out those percentages across the course of the training blocks. So hopefully, again, this illustrates how we've done that across 6 blocks. So with build, sort of having an inverse relationship with perform. So putting in the foundations, allowing you to earn it so that you can burn it in this middle block with 40%. That's where intensity peaks. And then perform, so looking as close to what you would do in a competition at the end of block 6. So here we've got some examples of progression within the program. So we've got at the top here some sport-specific strength development. So this is actually just taken from block 1, weeks 1 to 3. So you can see in the first session, we've got a combination of 12 back squats, 12 double dumbbell snatches into 20 push-ups on the dumbbells with a 2-minute rest between rounds. And then in the second week, we'll bring the reps down. So we're getting some progressive overload, bring the reps down, hopefully increasing the weight alongside that, but then introducing a 12-calorie sprint at the end. And in the last week, just bringing the reps of the back squats down to 8 and increasing the weight again on those. And then just an example of some of the different training zone work we've got across the course of the program. So we've got some zone 2 stuff here, some zone 3, really important that we're getting clients that are coming through this to actually stay in the right zone so that we are developing the right system, which will allow us to open the door further along in the program. Some zone 4 stuff and some zone 5. And then a quick overview of the education strategy that I was talking about before. So what I've tried to do with this is keep it really bite-sized and actually stagger it so that it's not overwhelming and all at once. So I've giving it at the right time within the program for what each individual needs. So we've got our testing guide, an outline of the program map, how to implement the program, and then a block 1 training guide, which we do every time we introduce a new training block. And then there's some stuff on nutrition and fueling for your goals, and the mindset and lifestyle stuff as well, which is a real hidden gem, and looking to build these out over the course of the program and running it. So we've got the sort of how it's delivered. So we've got the training app, which I'll be using TrueCoach to start with. So that's delivered through that, and all of the workouts you can see in a mobile app with exercise videos, instructions to go with each workout, some questions in there to help you work on your strategy. And then I've tried to, where possible, integrate some scalable options for the different lifts and workouts within there, depending on what equipment people have. The Client Hub, so I use an app called Notion for this, and that's got all of the corresponding trainings, and as you can see on the illustration on the left, on the right rather, where we've got the training, nutrition, and the mindset and lifestyle support. So all of those different 3 pillars that I was talking about before. And then there's also an accountability tracker. So not everyone will use that, but for those that want a tool to be able to keep them accountable for actually implementing the stuff that they learn in there, then that's worked really well with my one-to-one clients. And then lastly, this is about creating a community as well. So I want people to join the tribe and hold each other accountable. Now, whilst I'm really, I want to have banter and stuff around the program and make it enjoyable for everyone, we're also serious about getting results. But within the fun, I want to gamify some of it, have some competitions, and then you'll also get to the coaching support through that from me. And sort of coming to the end and wrapping up, sort of who is this for? So I think sort of minimum of 2 to 3 years gym training experience, competent in all the main lifting patterns, so squatting, hinging, push, pull, core. Equipment use, there'll just be the usual functional fitness gear that you have in the competitions that I mentioned, and looking for a minimum of 4 sessions a week. So there's 6 sessions available, but I think in terms of a commitment that I want people to agree to, it is sort of trying to get an 80% adherence rate in that, because that's what's going to get people the results. So if you feel that you hit the criteria there, and most of what I've shown you in here is kind of in line with your training goals, then hit the application form, which is in the video description below. That'll take you through to a form. There'll be a couple of questions on there so I can get to know you a little bit better and understand your training goals. I'll then arrange a quick call with you just to give you a bit more information on the program, understand where you're currently at with your training, and then ultimately decide if this is suitable to get you there. Thank you.